Getting a new smile in just 24 hours sounds amazing. But what don't people tell you about getting your smile back?
I kind of felt like maybe I didn't think they would ever feel like my teeth.
Did you ever realize the kind of ripple effect that did happen?
I thought, okay, well, I'll have some teeth, so it'll be better. But I had no idea how much they would make me feel different.
So, a lot of this you didn't expect?
I never stopped to think that it would affect my professional life as much as it has, and even my personal life.
Today, Cynthia's breaking down some of the unexpected side effects that she experienced after going through Nuvia's permanent teeth and 24-hour process, from recovery and pain to her physical and mental health. Let's dive in. Cynthia, you got your permanent teeth in 24 hours at Nuvia, and obviously your smile looks incredible. But let's talk about the side effects that people can't always see. And I want to start with a side effect that most people would expect. Getting something done this fast, they might expect pain. So, was that something that you were worried about going in?
Well, yes, like many people, I was pretty worried about pain. Um, I don't like it. Nobody does, I think. I suffered so much with pain from all the infection and the sharp edges on my teeth that I had that were broken. I really wasn't sure that I could take much more pain wise. To me, dental pain is one of the worst pains that you can endure, and I really didn't think I could take any more.
Did you actually get your permanent teeth in 24 hours? Did that actually happen?
Yes, I did get my permanent teeth in 24 hours. I had my posts put in my mouth on one day, and the following day I went in and I had my arches placed on my posts, and it was unbelievable.
Wow. And those are the same teeth that you got that in 24 hours that you have today?
Yes, these are the same teeth that were put in that very day. Absolutely.
Incredible. Well, so you said, you had a lot of these fears going into it. But can you talk more about what your actual pain experience was like? Were you surprised by anything?
Well, I was pleasantly surprised that I didn't have the terrible pain that I was expecting. What I had was more what I would consider to be like a discomfort type feeling. The office numbed me up pretty well on the day of the surgery, so I didn't really feel pain that evening. I don't remember even feeling like I had surgery. I just woke up and knew that I had something done, but I didn't feel pain. I didn't need to take pain meds until later in the evening when I wanted to get some sleep. I had Tylenol and ibuprofen, and they had prescribed the stronger medication in case I needed it. But honestly, I did not need the strong medication, and I had plenty of it left over once I had recovered from the surgery, even. I was nervous about having my arches placed the next day. That's where I really thought it was going to be discomfort and painful, even because it was fresh surgery. But
Hmm.
there was no pain, there was just a little bit of pressure, and I think I recovered pretty quickly, actually. I was a travel patient, so I flew on an airplane to the office, and then I flew 3 days after surgery. I flew back home, which was a 4 hour flight. And then I felt so well once I got home. I drove from Tennessee to Florida with my mom because I had a new grandchild in Florida to
Oh,
see. So I felt well enough to drive, and it was wonderful. It was great.
wow. Yeah, it sounds like it. And I know, everyone's experience with pain is different, but I'm really happy to hear that it really was just a little discomfort for you. That's incredible. Now I kind of want to talk about an unexpected side effect. And this one has nothing to do with the look of your teeth, it has to do with your health. But before we get into that, I do want to rewind. Let's talk about what your physical health was like before you got your permanent teeth. What did you feel like on a daily basis? And yeah, what were you kind of experiencing beforehand?
Well, before I got my teeth, I had a lot of pain and infections in my mouth, and it was affecting my whole body. I wasn't sleeping well because it would wake me up in the middle of the night. I had headaches and digestive issues, and just an overall feeling of not being well. I didn't realize until after I had the surgery that my unhealthy mouth was the reason that I had all these feelings, that why I felt so sick.
Wow. So you mentioned digestion, and I'm a little curious. Can you kind of dive further into that? Why do you think you were having like digestive issues?
Well, I wasn't able to chew my food properly. I mean, I'm a nurse, and mastication, which is chewing, is a big part of digestion, and I wasn't able to do that. I didn't
Mhm.
have any teeth in the back, and what I did have in the front, they were broken, and I just couldn't chew my food up properly. So I was swallowing food that was in chunks, and it was really not digesting well. It was causing pain in my stomach, and I just was feeling unwell overall. So it really it was a terrible experience. When you can't chew, you don't think about how much you need your teeth until you're trying to chew something.
Wow, I can only imagine. So, were there foods that you had to avoid, or what did that look like?
Oh, yes. I have always been a steak and potatoes person. I love to have a good rare steak, and I love corn on the cob when it's in season. And I can tell you that I would try to eat, and I actually would. I had some circumstances where I choked on the steak, and luckily I was able to get it out, but I couldn't chew it. So it got to the point I could not eat it. I just couldn't eat the steak that I wanted, and I couldn't chew corn on the cob because I was afraid I was going to break my teeth off when I was chewing it. Um, Salads, I couldn't chew them. I mean, it was just a matter of eating soft noodles and things most of the time, and that gets tiring after a while. You know, you want to eat certain foods and you can't, and it was really awful.
Oh my goodness. I can't even imagine, seriously. Well, on the positive note, let's talk about now. You've had your dental implants for how long? Is it almost 2 years or
2.5 years.
2.5 years? Incredible. So, what do you feel like now? What do you feel different than you did before on a daily basis? What's changed in your health that has surprised you the most?
I feel so much better. Now I can eat the foods that I need to eat, all the meats and the proteins and the salads. And I never have to think about, oh, can I chew that? Or I don't have to swallow it whole because I can't chew it. And I just feel so much better health wise than I did before because I'm able to eat the right foods. I'm not having those gut pains. And, it just, it's amazing how much better you feel when you're able to eat the foods that you're supposed to.
Wow. And so do you feel like, what does it feel like when you're eating? Like, do they feel like your teeth are strong or like what are they made of? And how do you feel when you're actually eating it? Like eating food?
Well, they are made of zirconia and they are very strong. I have no fears. I forget that they're not my own teeth that I was born with. I mean, especially eating corn on the cob. I never imagined that I would be able to eat corn on the cob with implants and have it feel as natural as it does. I don't even think about it. They feel like my own teeth.
Oh my goodness. How long do you think it took for you to kind of get to that point?
I would say within the first year that I felt that way. I mean, it does take an adjustment in the beginning, especially since during the very beginning, you're healing and you go through all the swelling, and then, you get your tongue has to find where everything is because they're not used to having these teeth. And then once everything is, your body has adjusted, it seems to happen pretty quickly. And for me, it took, I did some practicing with singing and talking more so that I would make sure that my tongue knew where my teeth were. So, but it definitely it happened within the first year.
Incredible. Well, yeah, I can imagine having a new full set of teeth in your mouth. It would take a little bit of getting used to, so that makes sense. So are there things that you have to avoid eating now, or what about that?
I actually don't have anything that I avoid eating. I've never been one to chew on ice, so you're not even supposed to do that with teeth that you're born with. So I don't have to worry about that. But I mean, I eat anything I want to. I have no restrictions due to my teeth. So yeah, I can eat everything, and it's great.
Wow. Wow. What a change from before to now. How do you think, being able to eat and having this new set of teeth in your mouth, has it improved your energy? What is that like?
Well, since I've gotten my new teeth, I definitely feel like I have more energy. And I think that's partially because I am able to eat the right foods, but it's also because I have more confidence and it makes me want to go and do things more. When I didn't have the nice teeth, I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to do anything. I just kind of wanted to hibernate, because I
Mhm.
didn't want anybody to see my mouth and I didn't want to be judged for how my teeth look. But now the combination of being able to eat well and not having to think about, are people looking at my mouth all the time? Because I really felt that way. I was very self conscious that every time I would open my mouth, somebody was looking at my teeth. But I
Mhm.
don't have to feel that way anymore. And it's a great
Oh,
feeling.
that's incredible. Did you ever expect that getting, your permanent teeth in 24 hours, did you ever expect for you to feel this different?
I did, but not to the extent that I actually do. I knew that it would be an improvement, but I had no idea how much of an improvement it would be. I mean, I thought, okay, well, I'll have some teeth, so it'll be better. But I had no idea that I would be able to eat everything and nobody knows that these are not the teeth that I was born with. Nobody ever says, "Oh, are those implants?" They can't tell. They look just like my normal teeth,
Mhm.
even if my gums are showing.
They definitely do, though. They're so beautifully crafted. Well, before we kind of dive further into the next side effect that you experienced, if you're watching and you're curious about what something like this could cost you, there's a free dental implant cost guide that's linked in the description below for you to check out. Now let's shift to a side effect you just kind of touched on, which is, a little more personal, your mindset, your mental health. First, I want to kind of go back to before getting this done. Where were you at mentally? Would you say you're happy?
Before I got this done, definitely not. No, I was very unhappy because I was spending money on temporary patchwork to have my teeth just not hurt. It didn't mean that they looked nice, but at least that for a little bit they wouldn't hurt until I got the next infection. And I wasn't happy because, I couldn't go and be in public and speak to people and go out and eat and not be self conscious about my mouth. So I would definitely say that I was not a happy person before this.
Wow. That makes me so sad because you sitting here today, like, you're glowing, and, I just can't imagine, like, what that was like before, but let's talk more about now, right? So since getting your new smile, what changes did you first start to notice in your confidence or maybe something that surprised you more than kind of you thought it would?
Well, since getting my new teeth, I definitely am more confident about being in photos. I never wanted to be in any photos anywhere. So there's like years of time where I just was never in any pictures that anybody would take because I didn't want to be in them. I would be the
Mm,
camera person. I didn't want to be the one in front of the camera. I didn't want to speak in public. So there were opportunities that I had to do things at my job where I didn't take them because I didn't want to speak. I felt like my teeth really hindered me from doing anything a lot. And I would carry on conversations even with strangers. And like I said, I felt like everybody was looking in my mouth all
mhm.
the time. And I wanted to just hide. I would either hide behind my hand or, a napkin or whatever. And I just didn't want to speak. So I became very quiet, kind of withdrawn, and I just didn't really do anything. So it's been a huge change for the
Mhm.
better.
So do you think about people thinking about looking at you now when you're talking to people? Like,
Not
do you
anymore, not unless I think about it in a positive way. I might think, "Well, are they looking at my teeth because they look nice?"
They probably are. Oh, that's amazing. And, you mentioned your job, and do you think having your new smile has also helped you in that area?
Yes, definitely. In my job, it has helped because now I don't have to worry. I help train new employees sometimes, and you're on camera, and I don't have to worry about them looking and trying to see my mouth. When I'm training them, they can focus on what I'm teaching them instead. And it definitely makes my job less stressful and easier. And I don't have to, that's one less thing to worry about. There's enough things to worry about without that.
Absolutely, without a doubt. When did you start to notice these shifts, in your confidence? Is it something that happened kind of right away, or did it take time?
It was pretty quick. I because I didn't have a lot of swelling or bruising when I had my surgery, I started to notice the differences very quickly because I had my teeth already and I just wanted to show everybody.
Mhm.
So it was a huge change for the better. I couldn't stop smiling.
As you should, right? Well,
Yes.
let's go back to the question I asked you at the beginning of this, side effect. Are you happy now? What is your mentality like now?
Oh, much happier, much happier.
Oh.
I smile a lot. I feel like um, I smiled a lot years ago when I was young. People told me that I smiled too much. I used to work for a theme park, and so it was great because they wanted you to smile. But then as I got older and my teeth got bad, I didn't want to smile anymore. So now I'm much happier because I smile all the time and I can eat whatever I want and I just don't have those concerns. I mean, I don't think about things like I used to. Life is just easier.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. That is so incredible, and the fact that it's, like, affecting different parts of your life as well, is really, really cool to see. Did you realize, I know you said you kind of knew there was gonna be these changes, but did you ever realize the kind of ripple effect that did happen beyond the smile?
Definitely not. I never stopped to think that it would affect my professional life as much as it has. and even my personal life. I have, like I said earlier, I have a grandson, a new grandson. He's now 2. And it's so nice to be able to look at him and smile at him, and he smiles back, and he doesn't have to see my goofy smile. He sees a normal smile. So
Right.
it's really had this huge impact. I am so much more confident in being able to talk and smile and be around other people. So it's definitely had
Wow.
that positive impact.
And is there anything else that you wanna share that maybe you were surprised by, of this process or what's come of it since? Is there anything, you haven't shared yet that you want to?
I just was very surprised at how easy everything was, from start to finish. I've never had any issues. I didn't have a lot of pain, and I know that's, individual, but for me, that was my experience, and that was one of the great things, because one of my biggest fears was pain and recovery time. And I was very surprised that I felt as well as I did right after the surgery, and how quickly I adapted and actually embraced my new teeth. It was a surprise to me. I thought it would be I kind of felt like maybe I didn't think they would ever feel like my teeth. I was kind of hesitant, like, oh, these are never going to be really my teeth, but I don't feel that way. They are my teeth.
Wow. Yes, they are, they are. Wow, well, that is so incredible. I'm so happy you are where you are today. I have to ask you this last question. Has it all been worth it? Has going through this process, spending the money, investing in yourself, going through that adjustment period, has it been worth it?
Oh, it's been 200% worth it. It absolutely has. The only thing I would change is to do it sooner. I absolutely, and I know that's what everybody always says, but had I found Nuvia sooner, I definitely would have done it sooner, because the changes for the positive, it never stops. Every day I look in the mirror and I remind myself, how nice it looks now. My smile is there, and it's always going to be there now. So it's just a great reminder.
If someone is watching this and wondering where to go to learn more about the 24-hour permanent teeth process, where should they go?
Well, for anyone that wants to learn more, there is a free cost guide linked below, and I would go there and I would check it out.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your story. I know it's going to help a lot of people out there. Until next time.
Keep smiling.